If it's knowledge, humour, or a different perspective that you seek, look for the wisdom in the words that we speak. Words and wisdom. We'll let you decide.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Words and Wisdom, the podcast where we question the constraints of society's conditioning, and hopefully we give you some tools and techniques to take away so you can get over your trials and tribulations. All the teas,
baby,
bro.
we're back.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Mikey.
Happy New Year, brother. Remember, guys, we're not experts on anything in particular apart from ourselves, and through that we hope to help you on your journey. Got there.
Yeah, so here we are, 2021, first podcast in 2021. We've been away for a little bit.
Let's go through it all. Let's recap. Where did we start? I was a little sperm going
Yep, I remember. I remember.
Right the way through my dad's shaft.
Oh, yeah, so I guess today, what we want to do today really is we want to talk about New Year's resolutions. We want to talk about the new year. We want to talk about 2020. We want to recap, kind of, hopefully take some positives away from 2020 into 2021. And then talk about, you know, how we're going to hopefully smash 2021 and if we actually need to smash 2021 and everything in between.
Our favourite word, Zach, nuances.
Nuances, man. So let's start with 2020 then, mate. Well, I want to know what you took away from 2020, what you learned in 2020 that's positive.
On a self perspective.
Yeah,
go through self. I mean, to be honest, Zach, it was the best year I've had. It was one of my favourite years. I gained so much from it. I started podcasting. I started with really fulfilling my creative side. I'd got away from things I didn't necessarily want to be doing so much, like the teaching. It gave me a lot of anxiety. So COVID, cheers, brother. It put me into places where I got to reset and rejuvenate and start again. And I just focused on self. I've got a wonderful partner that I absolutely adore. We've now got a baby. And I've started this new path in life. I've got this whole new sphere of possibilities, of evolution. And I'm really excited about it.
Do you know what I like about that? Is I like about 2020 and what you just said is that 2020 actually gave us a lot of time for ourselves. We didn't have any choice. We had to have time for ourselves. And because you've got more time, you're not having to go to work, you're not having to do this, you know, bills are covered, they're being quite generous in terms of giving out money and stuff. So that, you know, we've actually got time to pursue or question what we're actually doing up until 2020, and then ask ourselves the question, is this what we want to do with the rest of our lives? And then it gives us time to pursue, like you've done, new alternatives, and like I've done as well. I've taken on a whole new business, but a whole different ventures in business, but it gives you the time to do it.
And I think as well as that, it gave us time, but it showed us, because before we may have had the time, we were just not valuing time in the right manner. We were putting it everywhere and we were constantly moving and being fast forward. I can't stop. You can. It was just COVID, the government, people have actually said stop. But you can do that for self. There's all time ever you can create your own lockdown, so to speak, in life and say, stop it, I don't want this, I need to act in this way. But it was 2020 that actually showed me that. I didn't need the government to tell me how to be, how to feel, what to do. But it was the first time I'd been told to stop, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
I just
definitely.
didn't value
it's
time
difficult.
in that
It's
way.
difficult to break a routine structure. When you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you have your coffee, you do this. It's hard to try and do anything else when you're already comfortable with your routine. Yeah. When something comes along and says, right, break your routine, everybody stop, it's so uncomfortable to start with. It's like, everyone got anxious, everyone's like, whoa, what should we do? I broke down, bro. I was like, fucking hell, I've lost all my clients. I've lost my purpose. I had to go inside, and it took me a good week to figure out what I needed to do.
Oh no, not a week.
I think because I was on my own, I didn't have anyone around me. I had to figure out quick.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny though is the start of 2020, I was on it, mate. As soon March, well, even January, I was like, I'm fucking ready for 2020. This is it. Let's get it. March came, locked everybody down. I was like, ooh, okay, boom, let's get it. Okay, let's get it. I was on Instagram. I was on Facebook. I was creating content. I was working out. I was doing everything. Second lockdown, I was just like, I don't know if I can be bothered. I felt like I'd done it all. I felt like I'd just got back into personal training, and then second lockdown came. I'm like, you know what? This is a ball ache, man. Third lockdown, I'm like, I can't be fucking arsed with none of it. I'm still working out. I'm still getting everything I need to. I'm still building my side ventures up. but it's really made me question what I actually want to do in my life. It really has made me question.
I feel that from a lot of friends and family members, but, you know, for a long time, we had been stuck on a bit of a loop, a bit of a cycle, and just kept going forward in this way. This is life now, this is the way it rolls. But for so many people, it was that moment of anything's possible now. What's a lockdown? What's a COVID? What's this new thing we're being told to do? What, I can't work, I can't go anywhere. What do you mean? So if anything is possible, I think it opened up the doors to people of, do I really need to live in this venture anymore? Do I need to live in this way that I've told myself? Is this depression created through my own being? Can I do something about it? Do you know what I mean? I just think it arose so many questions through people that needed to be asked, needed to be questioned. People were, from my perspective of the conversations I was having, maybe I'm just a down person, but there was a lot of people where it was negativity of, I'm a bit bored of this pre-existing narrative, this existence that I'm manifesting doesn't fit me, doesn't suit me. What's happening? I think that shake-up is exactly what we needed. I really do. I think people needed a bit of a mate going, come on,
100%.
Get out of it.
We need to ask questions. Self-awareness in a parcel is asking questions.
Yeah.
How do I feel? Do I feel good today or bad today? Why do I feel good or bad today? What is it that's made me feel good or bad today?
And on every spectrum, self-spectrum, looking at the societies we're in, looking at the political aspects we've got to live by, people are starting to go, is that fair? Is that equality? Is this a dictatorship? Is this right? Is this what do we want to live in? I don't want anarchy. I don't want to live in a state that isn't able to be governed, doesn't have any structure, but is this structure that we're being given and force-fed right?
Being as we're getting into that, being like, yeah, okay, we're asking these questions and stuff, but what one place I've got to in my mind is I've been asking the questions, I've been doing the research, I've been thinking what I want, what I don't want, but I feel like no matter what we want in terms of society and politics, that's all right, mate. Hello, mate, you all right?
There we go.
That's the alarm, isn't it?
Carry on.
Wake you up, mate. Wake up, Mikey. Wakey. Yeah, so I was saying, we're asking these questions. Do we want this politics? Do we want this? Do we want this? Do we want this society? And like, I just feel like we don't really have a choice, mate. I feel like we're being ushered in a certain direction. Whatever you want to call it, mate, it's very obvious we're being ushered in a certain direction. Maybe it's for the better of the earth and society. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's about money and power. But asking all these questions, and you see all these like posts on Instagram, like, everyone needs to wake up and we all need to do this and do that. And it's like, can we really do anything? You know, by posting on Facebook, 100,000 million people, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it really going to do anything?
I don't think dipping your toes into the social media aspect and just putting a post up now and then of, this is bollocks, running away, or going down a hate-filled comment section where everyone's just throwing shit at each other in a metaphor. But I think it's good because once the eyes are open and we're starting to see things shifting and not necessarily have to live in a certain way or not agreeing with a certain way, I think as long as communities are talking to one another and asking these questions, I don't think we can just go eradicate government, eradicate this, eradicate everything. But I think communities can come together and start to help one another more, conversate more and have these discussions. I think there's a more honest feeling coming about because, you know, when you go to the pub before COVID, it was always, we don't speak politics, we don't speak mind, we don't do this, we just keep it on this trivial basis. Whereas anywhere you go now, especially because we've been in lockdown, then you've got people who would never do this before, but they're coming and saying, can you believe this? What do you feel on it? What's your perspective? And I love to engage in this. I love to go to the gym and feel that there's something being asked because I never felt it before.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, but you know, with this whole now, people are talking politics, people are talking opinions. There's a certain way to have a conversation in which you get both of your opinions across, but you don't create any conflict or any ill intent between you.
Yeah.
Is this, and I'm just asking the question, or what you perceive, because we don't really know, but is this going to cause more divide? Because you've got masks, no masks, you've got COVID, no COVID, you've got deadly, no deadly, you've got right and left, and now we're all getting into these, we're really getting into these archetypes, or whatever you want to call it, or these categories, these labels, and the thing, these teams, and now we're segregating. I don't know, because there's what's the saying about the outside is just a mirror of what you feel on the inside. So I might be saying that I feel like people are more divided and segregated than ever, but also maybe I'm not feeling too good today, and maybe I'm just thinking that because of that. Because I don't know. What do you think?
I feel having a team was something before I've really riled against. I like, as we always say, the nuanced perspective coming from the grey area, picking both sides, trying to hear people, listen and understand where they're coming from. But then somewhat we're creating communities, or we're creating tribes of people coming together. And I think as long as they're not firing at each other, if they've got their own mindset and team and they're building together, I like seeing small breakdowns of people coming together over a common unity. And I think there's always going to be two ways of seeing it. There's always, in any philosophy, in any path you go down, in any conversation you have, there is a black and a white area and then something in between. So if I'm going to play devil's advocate back, I just say maybe there's a goodness in this as well that I've found is working and coming together nicely for me in my life and my existence. I enjoy the conversations I was never allowed to have before, because I felt such an outsider of not really agreeing with government ways in such, not agreeing with this is the only platform, there's other ways of being and living, and people are like, you're fucking such a hippie, why are you talking in this way again? And now I feel like I've opened the door to a tribe who want to think, want to explore, want to talk about more. I'm going into rap now.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I see where you're coming from. There's been a lot of positive and negative in there isn't everything. There's always a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
I just think for me personally, what I'm going through at the minute is not really. No, it's like I've done all my research in the conspiracies. I've watched the news. I've got to the point where A, I don't think I'll ever know anyway. B, does it really matter? Like, does my opinion on the facts and the conversations I have about the situation, is it going to change anything? Does it matter at all? Or is it just annoying me? Is it just aggravating me? But then when you let go of it all and you're like, oh, everyone do your own thing, blah, 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 the problem's still there anyway. So it's like, I think I'm stuck. I feel like I'm stuck in this like kind of limbo at the minute.
I feel I can speak on a genuine perspective here, because I've had that before in my life. I've been thinking, don't have these thoughts, because all they do is plague you, and then people around you don't want to be around you because you've got these thoughts. But I do think I've tried to separate from thought, and I don't want that to sound pretentious or hippie, but I keep hold of ideas, and I've got opinions, and there's a part of self here, but I'm not married to them. I'm not desperate for them to prevail or come out on top. I just like building existences with people around me that feel a similar way, and I'm then for building a bit of a community, a bit of an interest, a bit of a connection is the word I was looking for, where we're coming together on this perspective, and we get to live on from that. And I don't fight it. I don't go, we should be more like this, we should do this. I just enjoy that people's eyes for me, and I don't like the use of the term awoke or awakening, but seem to be opening and seem to be going, maybe there is more to this world, maybe there is more to this existence I've been shown through education, through the media, through this narrative. Because for me, I live in a small town like yourself. When you go around and start to meet people and communicate, it's on a very plain small field of existence. Then I went travelling, and I started to have these conversations, but then you come back home and nobody thinks like that, and you're really left alone. You sat there thinking, I've got to sit on all these ideas and thoughts of other that nobody wants to share them with, to have. So I feel in our society now, in my small community, the conversation is open now. The eyes are open, and people, even if it's this way or this way, their conversation's being had, and I enjoy that. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you know what question I hope people are asking more importantly this year, and because of last year, is questioning their health, questioning their nutrition, questioning the diet, questioning their exercise. And I do feel like you're seeing a lot more people going out walking and jogging, and hopefully because of the situation and the potential
virus that's going about. I don't know how to say it. I don't like saying that word.
Yeah, I know.
But this potential virus that's going about. I'm hoping people are questioning what they're putting in the mouth, what they're putting in the body. You know, am I exercising enough? Because the good feeling that we all want and we're all chasing, we can actually get it from simply living healthier. We really can. We get this like surge of vitality, this energy when we eat healthy and when we exercise, when we move how we should be moving. And if we can get that, we learn this like discipline, this control of over our emotions and over our feelings and over our life. It's weird. It's like you get into the gym, you start working out, you start eating healthy, you learn self-discipline. That passes on into your life. The next thing you know, your life's falling into place.
Yeah.
So I just hope that everyone gets to achieve some of that through this kind of transition.
It's fact proven, isn't it? The healthier you are now, the better your survival rate, the better your chances of thriving. So I completely agree with what you say there. I think people have gone inside, looking at self and looking at what can I do best for me now, and it might have even been getting away from something that was really detrimenting them as well, like the job for me. But there's so many instances of people who've gone, oh, here's my breather, here's my inhale. So 2020 for you, was that picking up all them pieces and putting them into the jigsaw now? Where would you say, let's go metaphor, where's your jigsaw at, Zach?
My jigsaw, mate. Well, I just thought I'd completed it, and then someone ran past and bits went everywhere, bro. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I thought I knew what I wanted. I was on this path of personal training, I knew I wanted a studio. And then, I've been questioning it a little bit before 2020 in terms of, do I want to stand there and watch people exercise? Is that really my potential? Is that what I want to do? Or do I want to help people actually mentally and really try and instill some kind of belief system and help them out with that, rather than just stand there and watch them exercise, show them how to exercise? So I was already questioning that. But 2020 came along. It shook everything for me, mate. It shook everything up. A lot of questioning. Do I want to be a personal trainer? So now I've gone into some other financial avenues that are completely different from personal training, health and fitness. Will they merge together in the future and create like something bigger? Maybe. Who knows? I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see. It's made me realise that I don't need to just go down one path. I can have multiple paths. I can have a personal training avenue, let's call it. I can have maybe go into something like mindset coaching and that. And then I've got maybe some kind of drop shipping, some e-commerce or some investing. I want to learn about investing.
Okay.
So last year was, even though I wanted it to be about success, it actually turned out more importantly to be about relationships for me. So let's get rid of all the business to the side. I rekindled my relationship with my mum this year. We became really friends again. My brother, he's in the army. We've never really got on properly, but this year last year, 2020, we really knuckled down. I found a new woman who I'm really kind of intimate with at the minute, and that's going incredible. I've also, I don't mean to sound pretentious when I say this, but I've distanced myself from certain people in life. You know, I've realised what I do and don't want in terms of my relationships. Are they fulfilling? Are these relationships fulfilling for me, or are they draining? After I've been with them, how do I feel? Is there a certain something that's making me feel? And if there is, I have a conversation with them, and then we decide what happens from there. But I've also realised the relationships I do want in my life. Do you know what I'm saying?
Can you remember that moment where you felt such an urge of, I need to change my relationships? Was it midway through 2020? Was it towards the end? And what was that pivotal moment where you thought, right, something's got to make
Truthfully, I think it happens over years. I think it's years of being in relationships where I haven't been the good friend. And then where I have found where they haven't been the good friend. And then it's years of learning about relationships. Relationships are a tough one to crack. But definitely this year, and I think it's because I've become so happy in who I am, happy in my own time, happy in my own space. And also I'm giving out energy, I'm giving out to people all the time. And then if I don't feel that transaction is at least somewhat equal, I'm not asking, I'm happy to give more than I receive. I love doing that. But if it's like give and there's nothing coming back and you're feeling like they're not really, by receiving just energy, time, focus, attention, listening, attention, you know what I'm saying? So, last year there was a point, one of my first encounters was I was spending a lot of time with a female friend, through the first lockdown. And I just found that I found she was very, I don't mean to slate her or anything. I just found she was very negative. I mean, maybe she was going through some shit. I completely understand that. But it just got to a point where like I just couldn't be around it. It wasn't for me. It's like, if the water's cold, you're not enjoying it, get out.
Yeah.
So I just decided to get out. And it after that, there was a couple more. And also having relationships like yourself. Mm-hmm. I've got a friend who's basically mentoring me and coaching me through finances, asking nothing in return. Like, but I'm trying to give as much as I can. That relationship reminded me that I don't have to give all the time. I can actually accept. And also my relationship with the girl I'm seeing, we've got this relationship where we both giving and not asking anything in return, and it's beautiful. Like, well, then I was around friends and I was giving, and then I wasn't seeing anything in return. I'm like, so I think the moment was having these good relationships. And they highlighted the bad in the other relationships. And
it's like there's a time to be altruistic. There's a time to give and not expect anything at all. But you can't have it in your constant friendship circle of life. You need to be receiving something when you've created a connection with somebody. Yeah. For me, like giving out and giving a 20 quid to a homeless person and going out and making people feel good, buying a random person a coffee, that's altruism, and I don't want anything at all from it. Maybe just a feel good.
Yeah.
I think that's a Friends episode. Can you ever truly give a selfish act?
Yeah.
A selfless act.
Yeah, because it's selfish in itself.
In itself, but I've had it in friendship circles before when I really did think it was coming over here, then just listening. I try and give a piece of how I've been feeling, nothing back, just blank up the walls. Yeah, this is basically how I've been feeling. No, not you now. This was supposed to be turning around.
Or when you're trying to talk to them and then the phone comes out. Or There's certain,
I know
there's certain dynamics in relationships that you can put your finger on and you can say that's not respect.
I've got a wonderful physiotherapist. Supposed to be helping me out with my neck and that, but she gave me some great advice once. It was so simple. It was just life. There's drains and there's fountains. Head towards the fountains, and it was that simple because I was basically mardying about one of my mates, and she just said, "Shut up, go this way," and it set me. It did reset a part of me, meta-programmed a part, and I thought, what am I doing? Why am I just being moany? She's being a fountain right now. There's other fountains that exist. Why am I not negating my way towards those?
And when two fountains come together, it creates a bigger fountain. Yeah. It's beautiful. I explained it last night. I had a bit of a smoke last night. And, don't give a fuck, mate.
My boy.
I had mushrooms the other day as well. We'll talk about that. I said, imagine like you're both a glass. We speak about the glass being full, half empty, whatever. But imagine you're both a glass of water or whatever. And everyone else has a glass. But the thing is, some of the glasses have leaks. Like, you keep pouring into them, and it's just falling out. It seems to be falling out. Like, no matter how much you give them, it never seems to be enough. Because they need to fix their own leaks. They need to fix their self. But like when you've got two full glasses of water and you're mixing and you're giving a bit and then they're giving a bit, you always stay full unless some drops out on the floor.
And then only to go towards that metaphor even more, there are times where I've been around my fountain people, and if you just keep pouring in and there's mess everywhere. So it's time to have a bit of a break sometimes where you just go and do your own water journey, but having that balance in life where you come together, you're filling each other up, then you're going off and living that.
Yeah, and sometimes you might be a bit empty, you might be feeling low, and then your fountains around you, if they really are your friends, they'll want to fill you up. They will want to come along and say, "Oh, you feeling? Let me do something for you." And then I guess it's up to you to accept that help. That's one thing I've learned this year. Is I don't have to do it all on my own all the time. There's no one out there marking me on the criteria of always doing it. And he's always had help. You can, and when you accept help, it doesn't make you any less of a human being. I think it's just sometimes, I think for me, I have the tendency to maybe accept too much help and get comfortable with all that help. That's how a relationship falls to bits, isn't it? So one woman or man's doing this and this for the person gets comfortable and then forgets to do anything back. So like, completely. I don't want to fall into that. I'm always consciously aware that I'm trying to give as much as I can, as well as receive. I think.
So I'm really enjoying that. Like the way you've voiced what you've taken out of 2020 is beautiful, and it comes from a very much connecting relationship side. Going into 21, have you got this path set up of you want to prolong this and then add in little bits, or are you just going to try and maintain this and make it grow more? Have you come up with ideas of what 2021 wants to provide?
So 2020 was a garden, and I'm planting all my flowers.
You're bloody great at this.
My brain works in.
This is how I understand things, though. I can't do things too educational.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Too wordy, too verbal. We need pictures. Human beings need pictures to understand.
It works.
My brain works in pictures, so I'm going to give it in pictures. But 2020 was a garden, and yeah, there was some weeds, yeah, there was some storms, but I've planted my flowers, or relationships, let's call them. And 2020 is just about pruning the garden and keeping it. I'm not trying to add too many flowers into the garden because it gets a bit messy. It doesn't look as, you need just space. Flowers need space to grow as well.
It looks like a vomit of a rainbow sometimes.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it, mate? And what I want to do is I just want to continue to look after these flowers, look after this garden. I think I've got some really high quality, few quantity relationships, and I want to keep progressing these relationships, but I want to make sure that I'm trying to give as much as I can, rather than just keep accepting as well, because that's how relationships are. And I guess it's just try not to feel like I have to rekindle relationships with people I left out in the past just because I'm like, oh, maybe I should. I don't know, but I'm happy with what I've got.
So say you've got this garden and you've got in there at the minute planted your daisies, you got your buttercups. What about for 21? Are there any plants missing? Do you think there's a couple of roses in there that you've got ideas of how to get and put in?
Are we talking relationships, people, or are we talking like ideas or?
It seems like you've started to plant your relationships and you've got them all met. It feels like your work is coming to be in order to an extent. You planted a few seeds in there and you're watching them grow and see how that goes. Is there anything missing in that garden that you felt you've not quite discovered in 2020 that you'd like to embark upon?
So I've said to myself, 2021 is about finances for me. It's about it's about learning financial stability, learning to be respectful with money, rather than going out to the garage, or every time I go past the garage, I'm going to pick a sandwich up, I'm going to pick a chocolate bar up. Like, this soon adult me, I'm going to I want to be frugal. I want to learn how to save. I also want to learn how to, like, if I see coupons, I'm like, oh, I want to use them. Instead of like, oh, no, I can't bother to use them. I want to have multiple income streams coming in. So one thing last year's taught me is nothing is set in stone. You get comfortable, boom, something comes along, shakes you up, and you've not got other income streams, you're fucked. So I want to make sure that I've got my hands in different pies, and each pie is cooking nicely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this year is about finances, maintaining my relationships, and learning maybe a new direction with business. So do you set in stone New Year's resolutions? Because I saw a great video today, how the mainstream, so in America, but on the news, they're always New Year's resolution, and they do this really small 3-minute segment snippet that seems quite phatic, so a little bit base, nothing real behind it, because I think there can be greatness in setting intention, setting in goals, and trying to bet yourself constantly and grow. But this segment for me was very false. It wasn't real. It was a New Year's resolutions. We all know by February we won't be doing it anymore anyway, and all that. These are the ideas that exist. So to me, when I've thought of New Year's resolutions before, I've thought of resetting them weekly or monthly or even daily, waking up, having a breath, and just trying to constantly be in a resolution, constantly be in a betterment. So how do you feel on resolutions? How do you feel on growth and starting anew? I think, like you said about that, the advertisement in America, how he says, we all know by February we won't be doing them, blah, blah, blah. And this is the problem. This is what I don't like about this New Year's resolution kind of transition period where people go, New Year, new me, and then everyone slates them. It's like, why are you slating them? If as a kid, you went to your mum and said, I want to be an astronaut, and your mum goes, don't be fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You'll never be an astronaut. And then she continuously said that. You're going to grow up now thinking, I'll never be an astronaut, never do it, blah, 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 blah. It's the same when we get older. We're just like babies in an adult's body, kids in an adult's body. So when I say you come to me and you go, Zach, New Year's resolutions, I go, yeah, don't be daft. You'll not be doing that. No chance. Especially if you respect me as a person, you're going to go away thinking, oh, okay. It's like, even if it's just a small bit in your subconscious, we shouldn't be going, oh, look at him trying to change himself. Oh, because it's the new year. What do you think he's going to last? It's like, it doesn't matter whether it's the fucking new year or not. If he wants to, or she wants to work on themselves, and they want to give it a little title, New Year, New Me, so be it. Support that person.
100%.
If you want to see people change, you want to see the world change, you've got to support the change that you want to see. But you ain't supporting it. You're going, oh. So what do I feel about New Year's resolutions? I call them New Year action plan. I always have a New Year action plan. And for me, for my brain, if I set myself a big, a number-orientated goal and I don't hit it, I get depressed. I don't believe in goals. Fuck this. So what I do is I just make them very vague. And I know most people say SMART goals needs to be specific, measurable, actionable, repeatable, all that stuff. I just keep them vague. So my New Year's resolution last year was to walk more, was to read, I said read 6 books in a year. I set them small. I set them real small.
Tangible.
I actually read 13 to 15 books in a year. But I'd never done that in the past. I've never ever read more than 1 or 2 books in a year. I just set myself these small, vague goals. Walk more, be happier, be more positive. I wrote them all down and I left them on my whiteboard. And I did actually, for a long time, I'm still reading now. I'm still more positive now. So it's... This year's, again, is save more money, be more mindful with money. It's just like these vague things that we, more to set an intention, like you said. It's more of a setting a New Year's intention than a resolution. Like, I don't even know what the word resolution means, but an intention is a very easy, achievable.
I'm in agreement with you. That's how I do it myself now. I went away 2-3 years ago with Chrissy and did another Airbnb. Beautiful. We like to reset New Year. We used to have big parties and then you wake up the next day, you just feel tired, pissed.
But also, you're going into a fresh new year with fresh intentions, with an old mindset of let's get pissed. And then we'll start tomorrow. Oh yeah.
So we go somewhere near the seaside, we walk by the sea, we try and be in nature and we have a nice time together. And I did set actual goals to hit. So it was every month I'm bringing out a new creative film. I'm going to do a creative project. And I had about 4 or 5 things, like I want to do a podcast. And I set that 3 years ago. But ever since then, I've kept that. I just want to maintain that, keep it going, but keep the rest of it vague. So be healthier, keep walking, read more, educate myself. And I really enjoy that because... I have managed to maintain that more so than when I get to January or at the end of January and February and I see that I've not actually read a book and I'm off my goal of 1 book a month or whatever, I will start to tail off then. I notice it myself. So if I just say read more and I notice by February I've not done that, I'll go out my way to pick up a book and I go, come on then, Mikey, page today.
I think there's 2 types of people, but also in the 2 types of people there's 2 types of thinking. So 2 types of people is some people need specific actionable goals so they can see it, tick it off, blah blah. Some people like the vagueness of let's just do a little bit more, and I guess it's knowing yourself. And then in between those people you've got, I do actually like actionable, achievable numbers sometimes, but I keep them very low. Because if I don't hit them, like you said, you tail off, you get depressed, self-belief goes down. So I keep them low. Like I started off reading 3 pages a day. I'm going to read 3 pages a day. I'm on like 10 to 20 pages a night now. But I started off on 3. Meditation, I want to do 5 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes a day. It's achievable. It's not scary to the brain. And then you can build up from there. So I think if you can either do it vague or you can do it actionable, but just keep it achievable, man.
I just love what you say. It's self, isn't it? It's always come to self because I don't think there's ever a right or a wrong way of doing anything really, but it's going off a feeling. If we know it's going away from, this is actually getting uncomfortable now, I'm starting to not be able to hit these goals and I've got so many numbers in front of me and I'm panicking and I'm getting anxiety that I'm not going to do it, maybe go towards that vaguer sense of achievable things that you can do but more vague. But then people that feel I'm not quite achieving or fulfilling myself, they can go towards that way. But it's always coming back down to gut. It's coming back down to how you feel, because like the podcast for the back of the bus session for me and this podcast now, we want to bring one out a week, or I do with more so with back of the bus. We said in this one, when we've got something to say, we're going to bring it out. But for back of the bus, I can always get a guest on. And I made myself a goal of, a podcast a week. Friday comes out. and one creative project, must got to be Rhythmical Mike based, comes out once a month. So that works for me, and I do have numbers to hit there, but everything else around and surrounding it, if I started to have more numbers, it'd just get too much for me. So I've left the vagueness there.
Maybe the fact that we do take on too much as well. We give ourselves like, I need to eat healthier, I need to exercise more, I need to be more creative, I need to... You're taking on too many things. Give yourself a year for one thing. Just give you one thing. And then the truth is as you're doing that one thing, you're building discipline and willpower in that thing. It will spread into other areas, and then you'll start to pick up. And the next year, you can really focus on another thing whilst you're maintaining that thing. It's just getting shit done. Get shit done.
I love.
What are you What's your 2021 intentions? What?
Maintaining the creative side, doing the podcast, but around that again for me, I left that seed in the garden that was all family and love and growth. And for this year, it really is going to be how I'm going to help my family the best I can, in honesty. Ella and Chrissy being our own little tribe now together, like having you in there, having friends that I really connect with, I really do love and want to do the best for them too. I want to give time for that. I want to value my time and make sure I'm putting it in them right places where I don't feel I have before. This little anecdote, I'm going to a funeral in 2 weeks now, and it was this really lovely woman I got on so well with. She really supported my art, really supported my poetry, helped me get my book published really. And she was only in her 50s, and she just died recently. Wonderful woman. But about 2-3 months ago, she asked if I could just write her a bit of a poem, but it was in my time where I'd had Ella, and I was confused as though I couldn't quite keep up with the schedule to get my podcast done and doing all these bits and bobs. So I just said, I'm really sorry, I'll do it in about a few months, whatever. I'll get you this poem. She died. Do you know what I mean? And I know I could have done it. I know I could have got that time together, valued that time, just done something because she's done so much for me in loving way, done that, then moved on and done other bits. So I've got to this point for this year. I'm going to make sure when something's asked of me, I'm going to be really honest and reflect and think about, can I give this time? Can I
Does this
value
person
that?
deserve this time?
Yeah, there you go. That's deserving of. Because again, last night, I was going to tell you about that, but Chris's uncle just had a heart attack. He's in intensive care and a coma at the minute. But these are people, they're so young, and they've like last year they came over, and I had to work again. I had to be in certain places, and I would have loved to have just created a bit more memory there, because we go to Berlin and see them. So for me, it's time this year. It's all about putting the time in the right places, who's deserving of the time, and valuing that. I think
definitely
really means something to me.
I think
this year.
when close people die unexpectedly, like, especially when there's a little story behind it, like she asked something of you, and then it really does hit home, doesn't it? And it's like, we do take life for granted. We do take our relationships for granted with our close ones. Like, oh, I'll go see your granny in a couple of weeks. Oh, yeah. We don't know, like, when any of them are going to just decide to go home.
Yeah,
we don't
100%.
know.
And I've managed to write that poem, and I've given it to their family now. And, you know, they were very thankful, really loving, and we've got each other. But, you know, me and Chrissy had this discussion yesterday about regrets, and do you regret anything, and how are regrets? You know what? I have a different perspective now. I do have regrets. I do feel it's okay to have regrets as well, because they're going to make me live differently. They're going to make a change in me, and that's something. I don't ever go, no regrets anymore. I'm going to regret things that I wished I'd have implemented and wished I'd have changed.
And then in the future, I'm going to implement and change it in that
100%.
Specific way.
Yeah. If somebody asks out for me again, that's it. I'm gonna. If you deserve it, you're having it.
Yeah. Can I have a full body massage, Mikey?
That's what happens on the back of this course.
Well, guys, we hope you have a fantastic 2021. You know, given the current circumstances and all the lockdowns and everything, we just hope that you press on and achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in 2021. And you can achieve whatever you want in 2021. Yeah, there's lots to be achieved out there, whether it's relationships, business, finance, health, fitness. Choose something, go for it, guys. Like, you know, like Mikey says, you never know when your time's up. So,
guys, grab life by the horns. We've got this. Peace and love, words and wisdom.